You sleep, you rest, you take breaks, and somehow you still feel tired. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, like your mind never fully recovers. Even on quiet days, you still feel drained, and after a while, you stop asking, "Why am I tired today?" and start asking, "Why am I always tired?" If this feels familiar, there's usually more happening beneath the surface. Tiredness is not always about sleep. Most people think tiredness is simple. If you're tired, you just need more rest, more sleep, more recovery. But exhaustion is not always physical. Sometimes, your body is resting while your mind never does. And that kind of tiredness feels different, heavier, more constant. Mental exhaustion. Your brain uses energy constantly, thinking, analyzing, preparing, worrying. Over time, constant mental activity creates exhaustion, especially if your mind rarely slows down. You may look calm externally, while internally, your thoughts never stop moving, and that constant activity drains you, even when you're technically doing nothing. Emotional fatigue. Emotions also consume energy, even emotions you don't fully notice. Stress, pressure, anxiety, emotional suppression, trying to stay composed, trying to manage yourself, trying not to overwhelm others. All of this takes effort, and over time, that effort becomes exhausting. Living in constant alertness. Some people live in a near constant state of alertness, not panic, not obvious fear, just subtle tension. Your brain stays active, scanning, monitoring, preparing, even in safe situations. And when your system stays activated for too long, fatigue becomes normal. Overthinking drains energy. Overthinking is exhausting, not because thinking itself is bad, but because your brain never reaches a stopping point. You replay conversations, analyze situations, imagine future problems, mentally prepare for things repeatedly, and your system never fully settles. It stays engaged all the time. Why rest doesn't always work. This is why resting sometimes feels ineffective. You stop moving physically, but mentally, nothing changes. Your body sits still, but your brain continues working. So even after resting, you still feel depleted, because your system never truly disengaged. And the pressure to keep functioning. Another reason people stay exhausted is the pressure to keep functioning, to stay productive, responsive, available. Even when you're already tired, you push through exhaustion, ignore it, normalize it, and eventually, your baseline becomes fatigue. Emotional disconnection. Sometimes exhaustion also creates emotional numbness, not because you don't care, but because your system is overloaded. You stop feeling fully connected to things. Everything starts to feel flat, distant, muted, and that emotional disconnection creates even more exhaustion. Stop treating yourself like a machine. One of the biggest problems is that many people treat themselves like systems that should always function, always productive, always available, always able to continue. But your mind is not mechanical. It responds to pressure, to stress, to emotional overload. And when you constantly ignore your limits, your exhaustion deepens. Sometimes what helps most is not forcing yourself harder, but finally acknowledging that your exhaustion is real. Reduce internal pressure. A large part of exhaustion comes from internal pressure. The feeling that you always need to do more, think ahead, stay prepared, stay productive. Even during rest, that pressure continues. So recovery doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with reducing pressure, not all at once, but gradually, allowing moments where nothing needs to happen, where nothing needs to be solved. Your mind needs recovery. People understand physical recovery, but mental recovery is often ignored. Your brain also needs space, quiet, less stimulation, less constant input, less self-monitoring, and at first, that quiet may feel uncomfortable because your system is used to constant activity. But over time, your mind adapts. Small moments of calm matter. Recovery is not one big moment. It's small moments repeated consistently, brief pauses, moments where your thoughts slow down slightly, moments where your body softens, moments where you stop trying to manage everything. These moments seem small, but they matter because your system learns through repetition. Relearning rest. Some people don't actually know how to rest anymore, not because they're doing something wrong, but because their system has adapted to constant activity. So rest feels strange, uncomfortable, even unsafe. And relearning rest takes time, not by forcing yourself to relax, but by slowly allowing your system to experience calm again. If you feel tired all the time, it doesn't always mean you're lazy or weak or broken. Sometimes, your system has simply been under pressure for too long, and eventually, even the mind becomes exhausted. But exhaustion is not permanent, and slowly, your system can recover